whatever you wind up doing is exactly what you should be doing.
And I have not behaved one single day of my life. Not one day of my life have I behaved, and I am fine.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're going to hurt some people.
Whose car are we going to take?
And welcome to the Nikki Medoro Show on this very foggy again Tuesday morning. Although I saw somebody in the comments saying it's a gorgeous day in the South Bay. Yeah, it was Shannon Colby in the comments. It is gorge. It was still foggy though. I was taking Kim, my daughter, to school this morning, and yeah, it wasn't as cloudy as other people were saying. It was in Oakland and San Francisco, but we have rain apparently coming tomorrow. It's still a freaking gorgeous day around the bay.
Did you read, not to downgrade the gorgeousness of it all, did you read that this lady in the Walmart parking lot, and I think it was Mountain View?
Yes.
Was it Mountain View? Morgan Hill? I don't know.
It was, was it Walmart Crazy? Somewhere in the Bay Area. Was it
somewhere
the day before?
Somewhere in the South Bay. She was in the Walmart parking lot, and an employee hit her with her car on accident and killed her. And they're thinking it was because it was such thick fog in that parking lot. Yeah.
I mean, there have been times, and I'm not even, now they talk, if you've ever lived in the Sacramento area or anywhere near the Delta, you've heard of something called Thule fog. Okay. And this is just thick. You can barely see in front of your car fog. It's really, it sounds, it's just fog. No. I mean, this is, you cannot see. And people still drive. They still need to get where they're going. So I can imagine if it was as, and I'm not laying blame. Obviously, there's going to be an investigation into this poor woman that was hit and killed inside in that parking lot. But I'm just saying, like, if you're kind of in a rush, you're turning the corner, you're looking, you can't really see. When I take my kid to school, this between the sun, my windows that, are still kind of like misty because of the dew or whatever on the thing. And I roll my windows down, I try and roll them up and it still doesn't clear, right? Between all that and then people driving and trying to get to school and not paying attention, it's scary. I'll make my daughter look right while I'm looking left. I'm like, do you see anything? Because the sun is just shining and glaring on me. And this morning, I literally just rolled the window all the way down. Like we were driving, it was freezing cold. I'm like,
use your hearing.
I gotta roll it down. I'm like, I gotta see. I gotta be able to see. So just be careful out there. I think, and I know if you're watching a recording, it should be clear by now. But if you're watching live right now, 11 o'clock this morning, it should probably clear up. So just be careful if you're driving around today. Okay, we have a fun show coming up to start off the show. I swear to God, George Santos is the gift that keeps on giving, even though he's no longer in Congress.
It's the truth.
It is so funny. I had to start with this because we were just talking about Rudy Giuliani yesterday doing this. And yes, now it is Mr. Expelled Congressman George Santos himself. Here you go on Cameo.
Hey, Bobby. Look, I don't think I need to tell you, but these people that want to make you get in trouble and want to kick you out and make you run away, you make him put up or shut up.
So yeah, he has a
Pennsylvania Senator
now.
John Fetterman paid Santos to record that video for New Jersey Democrat Menendez, who is facing his own legal issues over charges he acted as a foreign agent to Egypt.
So yeah, so Santos has his own Cameo now. I am cracking up at this. So not only, so it started at $75. If you go to cameo.com or whatever, a personalized video from George Santos starts at $75, but by Monday evening, it went as high as $200. He'll text message you for $10. That's how much he'll do it. So he's desperate. He's really, really desperate. Oh my gosh. Kim, can I say something to you right now?
Please.
We're not live. Fuck.
I wondered because it just said one like, and I was like, that's weird.
I know. I was looking at that too. Okay, let's.
You know what happened? You must have clicked record instead of live version, maybe? I don't know.
I have no idea. I'm so stupid. Okay, we have to start over.
That's
I'm
hilarious.
so late now. Okay, don't say anything.
Okay.
Actually, I. Okay, welcome to the show. I apologize.
We're funny.
I'm going to apologize. I'm going to also say this, Kim. Everybody in the chat, you guys have failed me. I'm just going to say
Whoever
this.
is producing this thing has
I'm
no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, you were live. Yeah, I was live. Mario, you must be watching on something else. So somebody on Twitch, I think Twitch was having a problem. And so when I hit live, I'd been on live. Just let everybody know we were doing the show, and then all of a sudden I was like, why are we not live? Why are we not live right now? So I think Twitch is having an issue. I'm just checking it right now. They're having a problem, so maybe that's what did not let it go all the way through. But I apologize, people. Some of you may have watched the beginning of our show. Some of us may not. But I'm assuming you were absolutely live. Was I?
Yeah, they can hear us. I don't know if they can see us. They can hear us.
You see us and hear us? Okay,
I don't know.
Okay, so Ron is saying
Hopefully
were not
we're doing
live
it right.
on YouTube. And
We'll
some
just
people
keep
are
starting this
live.
It's like Groundhog Day. We'll just keep going over and over and over again. We'll start the first 10 minutes.
Okay, I can't wait to go back and watch the recording of this, but I was like, Kim, we're not live. I was like, it's saying go live, it's showtime. And I was like, why is it not? But anyways, sorry, guys. Sorry. Okay. I apologize. I don't know what the hell happened, but I was like, we got to start all over again. So welcome, everybody. We talked about the fog. We talked about George Santos. Now, let's talk about George Santos again. They see Nikki and not Kim. Do you see Kim? Okay, but that's Kim.
Yeah, I'm just putting on makeup.
Oh, yeah, that's
right.
fine. Yeah. She's here, though. She's here, though. Okay, I apologize. It seems like a Monday, but it's not. It's a Tuesday. Okay, so we were talking about George Santos and how George Santos, Mr. Expelled Congressman, needs to make money. Is this another grift that he's on Cameo? Started at $75 for a recording. It's up to $200. You can get a text message from him. Stop it, Dave. Or Kim. God, you guys. Like, shoot. Okay. I'm going to get dinged for that, apparently. Anyways, you can get a text message from George Santos for $10. For $10. The
problem is then you'd have to actually give that thief, grifter, liar your money.
This is my thing. Can't I just take your contact information, change your name to George Santos, and save $10 and send myself a text message? I mean, how do I know if it's really him? I mean, I guess if somebody was really, trying to prove it, it's like, what's the phone number or whatever. But anyways, George Santos, he just doesn't stop. And we talked yesterday. I mean, he's trying to file all these grievances and stuff against Republicans that voted for his ouster. Again, he was expelled from the House. He has a looming criminal trial. He's only the sixth member in the chamber's history to be ousted by colleagues. I do find it a bit rich, though, that Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman actually paid George Santos to record that video, like a Democrat paying
it's kind of funny.
And he still did it, right? Like, it's like, but George Santos has no shame. No shame whatsoever. He's totally going to do it.
I don't think he knew who he was recording it for.
No, I'm pretty damn sure he knew.
You think so?
Oh God, yes. I'm absolutely positive.
I don't think he knew who the Bobby in question was.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, he said, okay, so again, he said, hey, Bobby, look, I don't think I need to tell you, but these people who want to get you in trouble and want to kick you out and make you run away, you make them put up or shut up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He might. I think he'd take money from anybody.
You're probably right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that he would take money from you, from me, from anybody that's going to be able to do that. Susan, thank you. $10. I'd rather give you $10. Thank you. Exactly.
That's exactly right. Thank you, Susan.
The whole text message thing is new. Oh, and Harry came in, pardon me, with a $5 hot toddy Tuesday.
It is that.
I could use that. Again, this cough, I don't know what it is about coughs, Kim, but it is just not going away. My husband finally came home from his trip to Florida over the weekend.
Oh, how'd it go?
He seemed to have a good time, but he didn't want to deal with my coughing last night, so he let me have the bed because I just can't stop. But yeah, maybe I'll have a hot toddy. He gave that to me last time I was sick, and I think I was fine the next day. So I might have to give up my not drinking during the week in order to take care of this cough that I have. Okay, let's click the thumbs up button, you guys. I apologize for whatever the hell happened at the beginning of the show and for my potty mouth. I was so confused. I thought I really started it. I apologize. Click the thumbs up button. We love having you all here, especially before the chat. The super chat, of course, is live, and be like Harry and be like Susan. You can all donate money. We don't have to be expelled from Congress for you guys to
No.
us. We do not need to do that at all. So thank you to all of you who donate each and every time. And thank you. When I get notifications that this show has new Patreon subscribers, I'm like, I don't think I can overstate how much it means and how much it really is needed to keep this show going. So I always appreciate opening up my email, saying that I have a new Patreon subscriber. And I even love it even more when someone updates their donation and they bump it up a little bit. I appreciate it. I thank you. I know it's Christmas time. People are buying all kinds of gifts and all sorts of things. So I appreciate anything you can donate to the show because we love having you. We do accept PayPal. The email, if you go to paypal.com and hit send money, is the Nikki Medoro Show at gmail.com. Check out our merch shop. If you get some of the t-shirts, the new ones that I have, and I know some of you have ordered them, please take a picture so we can give you some props on the show and show them off to others. And then, of course, my list of favorite things is up. All of this is in the show notes. I have some new things. I put up this one thing. I was talking with somebody about this charger for EVs, and I know a bunch of you have EV chargers, so there's something on there that came with a great recommendation. And so just check it all out and help support the show because we really, really do appreciate, and honestly, we need it so much. Oh, Jim says my cough remedy is to suck on honey-infused tea. You mean drink it. Okay. And VapoRub. I'm assuming you don't put the VapoRub in the tea because that would be really, really bad. But yeah, it's and then tomorrow, Kim, I'm gonna have my old lady eyes checked out because I swear something is happening. At what age? I am 45 years old and I feel like my eyes are going. So we're gonna go get them checked out tomorrow. You might be seeing me with glasses pretty soon.
Oh,
yeah. What's up with my eyeballs? I can read, but it takes a little bit to focus. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know. I might have to get some glasses. JR, $20. Damn. If you're gonna pay me $20 for every F-bomb, JR, I would love to drop my favorite word.
That's all it takes. All right.
That's all it takes to get money is to drop some F-bombs. I'm gonna have to go back to watch the beginning of the show because that must be so funny.
So it said when we restarted the show that there was a Twitch problem and that it seems like we were live on YouTube, but we weren't live on Twitch. And so we thought that it was, not live everywhere, but it was.
Well, some behind the scenes. No, and I'm just going to correct you a little bit, Kim. So you know that when you start the show, it says go live.
Yeah.
It said go live still. And it said showtime with the clock run out.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if we were live. I don't know how that happened. But so we're good. We're here. I apologize. My fault. If we were live, if we were not live, I have no freaking idea. Okay, I want to do some headlines. And then when we come back, and I don't know if this is going to be part of your headlines, but I have some video if it is. James Comer. I love when Republicans say, gotcha. And then they're like, and then you look around and you're like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? James Comer says that he has this big bombshell to drop. And basically, it's that Hunter Biden buys American. And not only that, but the amount of money they're talking about, it's just, you're leaving
laughable.
With this. This is the bombshell. This is the bombshell that you have. So we'll talk more about that. Also, this news this morning about this Alzheimer's test. I didn't have it in the rundown because I just saw it this morning. So there apparently is a test for Alzheimer's that you could take, like now, apparently. Well, I mean, I think it'll be offered next year, but next year is close. And it'll tell you if you're going to have Alzheimer's or even Parkinson's disease. Not that you have it, but that you're going to get it. And my question is, since there's no cure, would you want to know? Like, would you want to know that this thing is looming out there just to have the knowledge? So we'll talk about that. We have a bunch of other things. I had this cat burglar New York Post article that I was reading that was hilarious. This chick, of course, she's like an attractive woman. says that she's a cat burglar, which I don't know what the definition of a cat burglar is. Like, do you have to meow while you're doing it? But whatever. But she has some tips on how to protect your home. And one of the,
and move very softly.
No, you have to wear like leather, like a leather unitard or something, right?
No.
You have to be like,
it's not the outfit. It's the Oh, you might be right. Yeah, you have to wear the suit. You have to move like a jaguar.
You have to be like. But anyways, she said that there is this one device that is her kryptonite, and I'd never heard of something like this. And maybe I'm just slow on the uptake because I'm just slow on the uptake, and that happens often. But yeah, so she has some tips on what you can do this holiday season, especially to avoid your house being targeted by cat burglars or other kind of burglars in and of themselves. And then I have a great story to tell you guys about what my daughter told me yesterday in this stretch that she has no phone, especially at school. And I'm going to tie it into this story about Sammy's law, which is going to change how social media companies kind of hide the connections that are made on their platform. So that's all coming up. But first, let's take a look at what else is happening out there with Kim.
The world to up your street. The Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
Well, let's start back with George Santos again, shall we? Because, yeah, here he is.
He's
George.
my favorite. He's my favorite person to laugh at. Yes. Okay.
So we already discussed the fact that he's taking money for these Cameo appearances where you can pay him $200 and he'll send you a video message. But did you know that HBO is reportedly set to produce a movie about George Santos?
Ooh,
I'm not even kidding.
Who should play him?
Deadline is reporting the network has opted the rights to author Mark Chiusano's new book on the disgraced politician George Santos. The book is called The Fabulist, the lying, hustling, grifting, stealing, very American legend of George Santos. It was just published last week. Former Veep and Succession producer Frank Rich and Mike Makowski, writer-producer of Bad Education, will produce this film. We don't know who's going to play George Santos, but come on.
What does he look like? Okay, you guys, like, look at his face. Does he look like? I mean, I would say you want to choose somebody that's a name, right? Because if you're going to go through all the effort of it all, you might as well try to get somebody. I don't know who he looks like, but I feel like they can find an actor that really, really looks.
Mark Ruffalo, maybe? No?
Ooh, that's kind of maybe. But I think Mark Ruffalo is too skinny. Like, yeah, he's maybe. Kind of like plump. Jim says should be played by Seth Rogen or Nicolas Cage. I'm done with Nicolas Cage, not Nicolas Cage. Yeah, and Lori's like, as long as Santos doesn't get any money from it, wouldn't it be hilarious? And wouldn't it just be like him to be behind it, right? Like, he has to get some of the money. Yeah, interesting. I'll have to think about that. I'll have to like start looking at some actors to see who it should be. But he probably wants to play himself.
The House Ethics Committee, he probably will want to, alleges that he blatantly stole from his campaign, deceiving donors into providing what they thought were contributions, but in fact were payments for his personal benefit. I think he bought, Botox and
fillers. Katie says Bowen Yang SNL. Yeah, he's the one that sang that song, Goodbye. It was to Goodbye Norma Jean, but it was to George Santos. He did a pretty good job. But for the movie, I mean, that's SNL. You know what I mean? I don't know if, I don't know. We'll see.
Who is that from San Francisco? I'm blanking on his last name. That actor was in Law and Order, Benjamin.
Oh, Benjamin.
Bratt?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Bratt or Brat or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
He's way too attractive to play George Santos.
Yeah, but they can they can like whittle down their hotness.
Oh, no, then you'd ruin it for everybody. Like, no, he'd be out, he'd be out of your bank if you made
John Leguizamo.
Ooh, John Leguizamo, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe.
Like or the guy Newman from Seinfeld.
Hello, Newman.
Maybe just because it's kind of the whole smarmy attitude, but I don't know.
Anyway, I wanted to start with that because now we're gonna get the George Santos movie.
I love it.
How American, what an American thing to do.
I would want to be on streaming though, because I wouldn't want to pay movie prices for it. But if it was streaming, I would totally watch it. I would totally watch it. I mean, because it is like a movie. It's ridiculous what he did.
It is asinine. It is so crazy that it is movie worthy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Well, it is the 60th day of this war between Israel and Hamas, and Israeli forces are conducting their ground assault in southern Gaza now, as Hamas leaders are thought to be hiding there. The United Nations warned that an even more hellish scenario is about to unfold as the campaign in this region continues. They say it's becoming more apocalyptic, if that's even possible.
I know people are saying just kind of wiping them off the face of the earth, which when you're talking about Palestinians versus Hamas, we're talking about a horrifying situation. It's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. Meanwhile, the effect of all this is still spilling over into relations at college campuses. The problem of anti-Semitism is front and center on Capitol Hill today. First this morning, House Republicans let Jewish students from UPenn, Harvard, MIT, and NYU talk about the rise of anti-Semitism at their universities. Next, the presidents of those same schools are facing questions over their handling of anti-Semitism on those campuses during a House subcommittee hearing. So, here in America, it's a big problem because everyone has a different opinion and the clashes are getting more and more pronounced. The Republican National Committee has announced who will be taking part in the 4th GOP debate on Wednesday. Now, I mean,
there's only going to be 3, right?
Well, we 3 people participating?
There's the article that I read that only 3 people have qualified.
I have DeSantis, 4 here.
I have DeSantis, Haley, and Ramaswamy. Who else do you have?
Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie.
Oh, I did. The article I read was only those 3. Okay, well, that
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, and entrepreneur, if you can call him that, Vivek Ramaswamy, are set to take the stage in Tuscaloosa, Alabama for the event. Right. Former President Trump, who still holds a wide lead in the GOP polls inexplicably, will instead take part in a Fox News town hall on Tuesday. He gets his own special event.
This is what I don't understand is for someone facing so many charges, right? And everything with January 6th and in the last election, I feel like he has to debate. And the fact that he's not just shows that he's scared. He's scared to be called on the carpet with actual evidence of why he's totally unqualified to be president of the United States. Yeah. And he doesn't want to be, questioned about, well, are you going to uphold the Constitution? I mean, this is the oath you take. It's fine if you don't like the Constitution and the rules that are involved in it, then you just don't have to be president, right? Like, that's what the job is. That's what it's supposed to be. And I just don't understand, even if you are a Trump supporter, why you look at him basically being too scared to debate. I really do think it's fear. I think the people around him are like, don't do it. Don't do it. It's not, he's using it like, well, look how far ahead I am in the polls. If you're so far ahead and you think you have so much support, then why not? And I would say the same thing to Biden. I mean, once Biden is the nominee, I know some people are saying he should debate, people that want the Democratic nominee, but he's the incumbent. And so I'm more inclined to be okay with that, but he still has to debate the Republican nominee. But I mean, there is no Republican nominee right now, and he should totally debate.
Can you even imagine, though, his lawyers for all the criminal cases against him are like, don't get up on the stage. These people are going to hammer you over all the law cases, the criminal cases that you're facing.
And you have no response.
Yeah, he can't. I mean, if looking at it that way, I don't know how he manages to handle himself in a debate without giving evidence against himself.
Well, yeah, or saying something like that's under the gag order or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you can it really is. I understand why the advice is don't do it. But if you're running for president, you have to defend yourself. I'm sorry.
No threat of a tsunami after a magnitude 5.1 earthquake hit off Hawaii's Big Island. The earthquake, 5:45 p.m. on Monday night, was centered just south of Volcano, Hawaii. The U.S. Geological Survey initially reported the earthquake was a magnitude 4.5, then upgraded it. No reports of injury or damage. That volcano is up on, it's up on one of the volcanoes. It's a town on the volcano. Okay. So it's really pretty up there. They have hydrangeas that are massive and huge, and it's very rainforesty and pretty looking and wet. But yeah, that's a big one, 5.1. Wow. It is day 2 of a California state university strike. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, but more than 500 faculty at San Francisco State on the picket lines this morning, joined by hundreds of students in support. Professors, lecturers, librarians, counselors, and coaches walked out of Cal Poly Pomona yesterday, crowding sidewalks near the main entrances. Tomorrow, the strike heads to CSU Los Angeles, and then Thursday, it ends at Sac State. The union represents about 29,000 faculty members statewide, and they are demanding more pay.
Yep.
Don't you think you have to? I mean, as prices go up, then pay should go up. You can't just keep pay stagnant and then ask people to pay more for everything.
I mean, it has to keep up. And it's the same thing with anything out there, right? I mean, I know we bitch and moan about inflation and grocery store and everything like that, but when you're talking about keeping a friggin' roof over your head, if the price of housing is skyrocketing and your wage is stagnant, and then with inflation actually going down, of course they're going to strike. They're like, you have to pay people more. And again, we've talked about, all of the extras that colleges offer and, education, a good teacher. That's what I want when I send my kid to college. You can keep the, hot tubs in the dorm rooms or whatever. I don't need any of that. I need my kid to have a teacher that's paid enough so they stay and it's not a newbie teaching every other year,
Hot tubs in the dorm rooms. Where are you sending your kids to college? I don't know.
Pull that out of my butt. It's
okay. California is again fighting for reproductive freedom. Governor Gavin Newsom says accessibility and affordability are essential when it comes to health care for women. He is joining forces with 5 other states in pushing for most insurance plans to also cover over-the-counter contraception. The leaders sent a letter urging the federal government to expand access nationwide before a new birth control pill becomes available next year. Here, here, California. Thank you.
Heck yeah.
For everything wrong, that's,
exactly.
We do that right. We get that one right.
Freedom. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Younger voters could be less likely to vote in 2024.
What?
It's a shocker. I saw a post yesterday saying if you have a college student, when they come home from college, first stop, after you pick them up at the airport or the bus station or wherever, is to take them down to register to vote and get an absentee ballot so that they can vote absentee in their home district. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would, on your 18th birthday kind of, but also you can make sure, because obviously if you're turning 18 very close to the election, you can vote, but you have to register early. You know what I mean? So, I was so excited to vote in my first election.
So was I. I couldn't wait. I thought, this means I really have a voice. I can participate now.
Absolutely.
But then, when I was a senior in high school, we had to take U.S. government, the class. Right. And it's a graduation requirement. I don't know if that's still the case, but they teach you all about, the political process and elections. And maybe it was because I had the class that I was all amped up to vote. I don't know.
Right. I mean, I think that, I think that you're making an excellent point about being exposed to what turning 18 means and your civic duty before you turn 18 can get that excitement going. Like, look, this is what you guys get to do. Not just, president and all those sorts of things, but here locally, the mayor, you can have a say in that and get them involved. I mean, civics classes and all that is so important.
Yeah. Well, a new poll from Harvard University's Institute of Politics shows respondents between 18 and 29 who did vote in the 2020 election say that just under 50% say they would definitely vote in the next presidential election. Just under 50%. Another 17% said they would
poll these people.
Probably vote.
Did they call them?
It doesn't say calling.
I mean, how do they often do polling? They call people. I mean, unless you text. I get a lot. Do you get a lot of those text messages?
No, I don't.
So I just got one yesterday. What does it say? Oh yeah, from you were recently invited to take a short survey about issues in the Bay Area. Not interested? And I didn't click it because I don't click anything on my phone, but I'm assuming that that's it. So I don't know. I mean, maybe if they're reaching them that way, then I'll say, okay, I'll put a little bit of stock in the poll. But if they are calling, then no, I have zero stock in that poll.
So it was just under 50% that said they would definitely vote in the next presidential election. 17% said they would probably vote. And nearly 2 in 3 of the same age group said they definitely voted in the 2020 presidential election. The Institute of Politics at Harvard, director says the good news is they do have hot tubs in the dorm. It's very fancy. They say the good news is there's still time to appeal to the Gen Z and young millennials to get them to vote next year. Ladies of Gen Z and millennials, you are of childbearing age. This is your moment. And if you care about your reproductive freedom, if you care about your women's rights at all, then you will get the ass to the polls and you will vote.
Well,
how could you not?
I feel like as it gets closer as well, although, I mean, you know, primaries and everything like that. Janet says, yes, government is still a required class for seniors. My daughter's excited to take it next semester. And again, when we're talking about, you know, the newest of voter, right? The youngest voter there is, sometimes they do need a little bit of a push. Because there's so much focus on candidates, and then the nuts and bolts of are you registered can kind of get lost in there. Like, you have to register. You have to be registered by this date, blah, blah, blah. But again, there's also rules where the day of, right? You can get that, whatever. It's not a preliminary ballot. It's the ballot that you can same day voting type of thing. Some places allow that, not everywhere. It's not universal, but you just have to make sure that you do all of the required things in order to be able to vote.
Very interesting. So I'm trying to figure out how they asked, but they polled people, and they say here in this article that I'm looking at, that how many of them? 2,098 young Americans were surveyed between October 23rd and November 6th. But it doesn't say the method of how they asked them.
Do that. Yeah. I mean, sometimes they include a link to the poll, but yeah, you have to reach people where they are, right? And I'm sorry, anybody that wants to poll me, I always say, like, nobody asked me, and then anybody that tries to ask me, I'm like, phishing scam, not asking, not answering. Like, no. Provisional ballot, that's what I was thinking, or a conditional ballot. So same day voter registration in California, it's a state law here. And so if you miss the deadline to register to vote, you can do so. Eligible citizens who need to register or re-register to vote within 14 days of an election can complete the process to register and vote at their county elections office, polling place, or voting center. So yeah, you can still do it here in California. That's not universal across the country.
Here's another portion, and they have different sections of the things they asked on this poll. What they did find is that reproductive health does continue to be a key issue for the 18 to 29 demographic. 44% of poll respondents said abortion should be allowed in all cases. That's up from 36% in 2016. When asked whether they consider themselves pro-choice, 53% chose pro-choice, 26% said pro-life, and 10% said neither. 10% said I don't know.
And this was women or just all voters? All voters, yeah.
Young people from 18 to 29. Yeah.
It is, again, having the government dictate all pregnancies across the country is insane. And it blows my mind that Republicans are behind this. You know, again, and I say this every single time, if you want fewer abortions, make it easier to be pregnant and to have children in this country. But Republicans don't support that either. They just don't. You know what I mean? Like improving safety nets, wages, income inequality, housing, all of these things, job opportunities, but even then, like, that's all the government should be involved in, not whether or not somebody continues a pregnancy. It's insane.
No, but I mean, it's interesting to know that they do care about it and that they do, understand it. They also asked if the younger voters, if they had learned about voting in high school, and more than half said they had.
But I would imagine so, yeah.
They also said that they don't feel they came away with enough information on how to research candidates, which is interesting.
Yeah, and where do you go? Because if you just listen to the ads or the mailers, that's all skewed, right? And so, you can open up that the voter information guide or what have you. Good point by Blue Spark. I think many are intimidated by so many issues on the ballot. As far as I know, you do not have to vote every line. No, you do not. School board judges, most people don't know what's best. Just skip those. Absolutely. You do not have to vote for anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. You can only vote for president if that's all you care about, right? I would educate yourself on all the issues, because guess what? Even if you don't vote on it, somebody else is. So you're giving up your chance to say something and have your say on it, but you don't. judges, whatever. If you don't understand it or don't know and don't want to be involved in it, you don't have to.
Yeah, it's I mean, you want to research as much as you can, right? You want to do as much as you can, but if you get to the point where you don't know where to look up the information on all these judges or anything else, then just vote vote on what you know and move on. Yeah.
And he's like, I hate how Republicans keep lying about late-term abortions. I wish more people would call them out on that lie. Newsom tried during that debate.
And Nikki Haley, lie. It's crazy.
And it's so insane. Like, I just wish, again, going back to that Newsom DeSantis debate, that wasn't a debate. I just wish Newsom was able to, and I know he can't because of everybody, DeSantis and Hannity weren't going to let him, but just been like, do you truly believe that a woman will stay pregnant until 7 months and then decide on their own with no problem to her health or the child's health to abort that baby? Like, is that what you're truly trying to convince the American public about? Because that's not true.
No, it's not.
There's no instance in which that is true, and it's bullshit. Sorry,
Yeah,
I already
yes, it
cussed
is.
on this show, so I might as well.
Might as well let it ride, sister. Let her go.
It is. It's just total BS, and they say that to justify controlling your body from the moment of pregnancy, and it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
Buttigieg had the best comeback for that, and the most realistic and the most honest answer that I've ever heard. When he said, "There's already onesies in the drawer."
Exactly. A crib.
Right. There's already a crib put together. There's already a nursery. This baby already has a name.
Yeah, it's
this isn't something you want to do. This is something you have to.
And they stand on that like it's a valid point, and it's not. It's just not.
Horrible situation.
Light the beam. Why? What happened? I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, there's a fan that died. They had a medical emergency during Monday night's Kings game at the Golden One Center. Authorities say the man in his 30s had a medical emergency during the first quarter of the game against the New Orleans Pelicans. Emergency medical services attempted to perform CPR. The cause of death not clear, but yeah, he died at the Kings game. Man.
That sucks. And we're going to talk a little bit about Sammy's Law coming up, and that has to do with, fentanyl and stuff like that. I am not kidding. Within the last month or so, there have been so many events, and I'm not saying that fentanyl or drugs was involved in the Kings thing, but where people are overdosing. There was Matt Rife, if he's a comedian of the moment right now.
I know, he's so funny.
Overdosed at his thing. They had to bring out the Narcan. And the number of people that had Narcan on them was good, but yet this is the age in which we live in, right? So it's Matt Rife is funny. I've liked him for a very long time, and then he kind of exploded, and now all of a sudden he's getting backlash on his stand-up comedy show that's on Netflix right now.
Made some jokes about domestic violence that people took offense to, but
he's at the beginning. I watched
he's that kind of he's that kind of guy though.
Yeah.
What he says is going to be it's meant to provoke, right?
Exactly. And again, if you don't like those kind of jokes, then don't watch it.
Yeah.
It's really simple.
And when called out on it, he's been very unapologetic because that's what he does.
Exactly.
That's, he doesn't want to be any different, and he doesn't want to apologize for doing that either.
Well, it would be disingenuous too. Like if you've ever watched, I have followed him for years now because I think he looks like my nephew. If my nephew was older, every time I see Matt Rife, I see my nephew, which makes it funnier to me because I feel like my nephew, who's 16, is telling these jokes, and I'm telling you, he has not changed. It's just that he's blown up. So there you go.
Fog. We talked about this a little bit earlier, and this is that again we mentioned as a reminder to be really careful with this fog in the Bay Area this morning. A woman in her 60s run over in a Walmart parking lot yesterday, died at the hospital. It happened in Mountain View before the sun came up. Police say an employee arriving to work did not see her as it was dark and very foggy. Weather is considered to be a factor in that crash. And speaking of the foggy weather being blamed for dozens of flight delays at Oakland International Airport. Passengers flying in and out yesterday either found themselves stranded in a terminal or on a plane, waiting up to 4 hours. Some say they got rerouted to San Francisco and San Jose due to a rare pocket of heavy fog in Oakland. So bad, a handful of flights got canceled as well. So it's another foggy day. And as Nikki mentioned, a heavy fog advisory is in place for the Bay Area until about 11 a.m.
Yeah.
If you're watching live, just know that is the case.
There you go.
Super soccer star Lionel Messi is Time Magazine's Athlete of the year.
Oh, I thought he was going to be person of the year. I was like, really? They chose him? Oh, okay. Athlete of the year.
The athlete of the year.
Nice.
The World Cup winner made his MLS debut with Inter Miami in July after leaving French club Paris Saint-Germain. He reportedly turned down an offer from a Saudi Arabian club worth hundreds of millions of dollars to come play in the United States of America. Thanks, Lionel.
Yeah. But, I know the name. I would not know that that's what he looked like. I'm terrible at that. I don't follow soccer that closely. So
me neither.
There you
but
go.
Apparently he's the real
Messi.
deal.
There you go. All right.
I mean, the athlete of the year. That's
huge. That's huge.
We're not talking Steph Curry. We're not talking the Kelsey brothers.
And it's soccer, right?
It's soccer.
In the United States. So yeah, that's huge.
This report is crowdfunded, which means we do rely on the kindness of you in the chat. Thank you for helping support the show. Find us at thenikkimedoroshow.com, thenikkimedoroshow.com. The Patreon and PayPal links are there, and we are hoping you will check it out and support us. Thank you so much. I'm Kim McAllister. This is The Nikki Medoro Show.
Thank you, Kim. Now, we had someone in the comments, and I do want to give some thank yous because I think we got some new ones. JR gave us the $20 for the F-bomb, and then Mimi came in. Thanks for the F-bomb. You're so funny. You're welcome. But then Liz said, the actor who's portraying 45 doesn't look anything like him, makeup and lots of it. I have a picture. Here he is, Sebastian Stan as Trump. And I will tell you, I think they have it. Because look, I mean... I think it's close.
I think as a younger Trump too, right?
Yeah, that's who he's playing. Yeah, he's playing the younger Trump. I don't know who's playing the older Trump. But yeah, so I would say that's a pretty good choice. Now, I don't think they put any prosthetics on him besides the hair. I couldn't see it when they first announced it, and we mentioned this yesterday that Sebastian Stan was playing him. But now I could totally see it. So I think the casting is pretty good. Still don't know who's going to play this guy. I think it's so funny that they're making a movie about him. All right, let's get into the bombshell that wasn't, in my opinion. James Comer, of course, he is leading the oversight committee into this quote-unquote evidence that Hunter Biden was funneling money to his father. I'm going to play you a little bit of a clip from Twitter of James Comer, and I just love... And then you guys can let me know in the comments if you think this is a big ass deal. Okay, you'd let me know. But here's James Comer trying to sell this bombshell as a bombshell. Here we go.
Today, the House Oversight
Be
Committee
louder.
is releasing
Can you hear it?
subpoenaed bank records that show Hunter Biden's business entity, Owasco PC, made direct monthly payments to Joe Biden. This wasn't a payment from Hunter Biden's personal account, but an account for his corporation that received payments from China and other shady corners of the world. At this moment, Hunter Biden is under an investigation by the Department of Justice for using Owasco PC for tax evasion and other serious crimes. And based on whistleblower testimony, we know the Justice Department made a concerted effort to prevent investigators from asking questions about Joe Biden.
All right, so that's him with his bombshell report. But here's the problem, okay? It's not a bombshell.
Yeah.
The actual evidence and the amount of money, it's like $4,000 or something like that. So there's 3 payments of $1,380. Okay, it totals $4,140. $4,000. It appears to be Hunter Biden paying his dad back for a truck loan or lease payments that his dad paid on his son's behalf when Hunter was low on cash. It was like for a Ford truck or something like that.
Have you ever had to pay your parents back for a loan?
Yes.
Yes, so have I.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so this is what I don't, this is the evidence. And I'll also say this, it's $4,000. Like, you're telling me that it's this small amount and that we're supposed to be so outraged about it. Like, I don't understand. Even Mediate, which is a conservative leaning online site, said, I quote, "What this actually proves is that Hunter Biden made good on a loan from his father and kept track of these repayments on an actual spreadsheet. That doesn't really paint a picture of a corrupt financial scheme. But if you squint really hard and look through the picture instead of directly at it, then it might look sketchy enough to convince Walmart shoppers. That is a quote.
That is so funny. And that's so true. I mean, do people really, really believe that
this is it?
President Biden would sell his soul for $4,000? Please.
For $4,000. And it's obviously the truck. And again, it all goes back to, it's very circumstantial. It's all like, oh my God, Hunter Biden called his own father while there was somebody in the room with him. He's allowed to call his dad. Biden is allowed to pick up the phone for his son. Oh my God, he made payments from this account that's also tied to something else that we're accusing him of, but and he repaid a loan. Like, where is the bombshell?
There isn't one. There isn't one. If that's all they can come up with, it's laughable.
Exactly.
And reasonable, logical people, I hope, will understand that. But I have a friend, I consider her kind of like my litmus test for middle America.
Right. Okay.
She lives in California, but we're, in Petaluma, not everybody is, it's not San Francisco up here. We have a healthy dose of conservatives, right?
Okay.
But she's not. She's really very middle of the road. And she's not stupid. She's a hugely smart person.
Okay.
Hugely smart. Can I say that? That doesn't sound very smart at all.
Huge. Yes, you're hugely smart.
Huge. She's very smart, especially with money. Like, she's very quick.
Okay.
So I asked her, we were talking about Trump, which we don't talk politics very often, but she said, but what about Biden and all this stuff with his son? She goes, I think they're all crooked, all of them.
Okay.
She goes, we should just start all over with a whole new slate of candidates because they're all crooked. And I'm thinking to myself, they're not all crooked.
No.
But if they got to her, right? If all these media messages about Hunter Biden, yeah. if they got to her, then I'm thinking that it probably got to a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
And so people don't really look into it. Maybe they just hear on the surface, oh, look, they're involved in something shady, and these people are involved in something shady, and they're all politicians, and they're all doing this stuff. I think a lot of people, that's all they need to hear in order to be turned off.
Well, and that's annoying, though, because we live in an age, especially, and I'm going to call out Republicans, they'll say whatever and see if it sticks, right? They'll just repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And then all of a sudden it makes it down to people like your friend who have something in between the ears. And they're like, well, maybe there's something there. No, you've just heard this repeating Hunter Biden's laptop nonsense over and over again. Are you listening to the substance of it? Like James Comer comes on, I have this bombshell, and then you listen to it.
There's
and you're
nothing.
Like, what are you talking about? He paid back his dad for a loan for a truck.
There's no there. But see, if they say it enough,
exactly,
and they say it often enough,
then you buy it.
It's all it takes, because you just hear that. You hear it over. It's
Trump's MO,
it's like
Kim.
bullets coming at you. You're bombarded with it.
Yep.
Sandy says, I've heard conservatives say the same thing. They're all corrupt, but they never offer any examples of corruption on the left, which even comes close to corruption on the right. That's true. Although I will say Bob Menendez and his gold bars.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty, that rises to the level. And he's a Democrat, right?
Right.
And here's the thing that Democrats will say. Democrats will call out members of their own and say, we've got some shady ones too, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Whereas
but they hold them accountable.
Republicans will point at the Democrats, but never at themselves.
Exactly.
And
It's
here
so
again
annoying.
comes the message to people, like that, that there's nothing wrong in that party, or that all politicians have issues, so we just ignore that and move on with everything else. No, we don't ignore it.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I'm really just hoping that that people can see through it. You know what I mean? And the problem is I don't think that a lot of them could, but I was encouraged, Kim. I don't know if you saw this. I don't know if you had it in your news yesterday, because I think this was taken Monday. More than half of voters believe former President Trump should be kept off 2024 ballots if he's convicted at least of one of the 4 criminal cases against him. This was a News Nation Decision Desk headquarters survey. It was released on Monday. 57% majority support, disqualifying him. So that's why it's so important to get these cases going, right? I mean, this is why I think that if you're convicted, there is still enough Americans who believe, all right, you've proven it in court, right? Like the whole January 6th committee, that was not court. Right? That was a witch hunt, according to Donald Trump, right? Even though they laid out evidence similar to what would be laid out in a court case, it didn't get past people because it was not a criminal case. These are. All right, so let's see. Among Democrats, 85% back Trump's disqualification, obviously. 29% of Republicans, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's almost a third. That's almost a third of Republicans are saying, all right. If he's a convicted criminal, if he's convicted of a felony, he can't even freaking vote. Like, what are we talking about? Why does it have to be him? That's my whole thing. It doesn't have to be him. We can have debates about policy. We can. I mean, we're good at that. We're good at debating, and getting all our anger up and arguing and everything. But it doesn't have to be Trump, who's a freaking bona fide liar and a criminal, in my opinion.
Grady says he just drove up to his parents' house and saw a sign that said Biden left the military men. Well, but that you're saying that the sign was indicating that Biden wasn't good for the military or somehow left our troops behind?
Well,
That's
I'm
baloney.
sure the whole Afghanistan thing, which I think that it is a valid criticism. I do say this, though. It was never going to be a clean exit from Afghanistan, and we don't need to debate this again. He did keep a campaign promise, though, a campaign promise other presidents have made about pulling out of Afghanistan. Could it have been done better? I don't know. I'm not in the military, although many people within the military said it should have been. There should have been more of a heads up. We left too many people behind, too many of our allies, too many people that helped the military. Absolutely. We can criticize President Biden for not being a perfect president. We can criticize President Biden for making mistakes. We can do that. But there's a difference between Biden and Trump. And if you think they're the same, you're brainwashed.
If you're comparing candidates, Trump's the guy who cut funding to veterans and also had horrible things to say about Gold Star families or veterans who died or were injured. Remember he didn't. Yeah. Well, and he didn't even want this man who had lost a limb and was in a wheelchair singing because he said nobody wants to see that.
Exactly.
Are you kidding me?
That's Trump. That's Trump. And that's the whole thing. We don't want to play whataboutism. Biden is not a perfect president, and no president has been. And if you're looking for perfection, you're always going to be disappointed. But Trump is not qualified. And I don't think he's even a good American. He's not. He's a good Trumper. That's for damn sure. Absolutely. So we'll see. I'm a little encouraged, but we'll see as things progress. And of course, as these criminal cases hopefully get underway sooner rather than later. Yeah. Let me read a couple of these comments because I saw one that really got to me. Hold on, where was it? Oh yeah, Gordon says Trump claims the DOJ are corrupt, but gives no evidence to support anything that he says. Exactly. Murphy says Fetterman bought George Santos cameo to troll Menendez. We did see it. We played it at the beginning. Yeah, we played it at the beginning of the show, Murphy, and that was so funny. It's just. On one hand, I am entertained by politics of today. On the other hand, I'm freaked out about it because there are serious things we need to deal with. And we have a Congress, especially a House, that seems so immature so often.
Speaking of Trump and his military non-service, 5 Vietnam War military deferments due to bone spurs. Come on, you should be embarrassed. 60,000 servicemen died and he cheated and he should not be the leader of the United States Armed Forces. Hear, hear, Ron Cook. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Vilma had something I thought was really interesting to say, too. She said that what Republicans are doing is shaving off votes because they expect Trump to get the same amount of votes in the election he did last time. So if they just shave off the, some of the votes here and there, the Latino vote, the black vote, the
for Biden,
young people vote, that they'll be able to somehow cobble together a win.
But I keep going back to who was it? Was it Lindsey Graham? Who was it that said if Trump becomes the nominee, and this was back in 2016, then, the Republican Party is over or whatever. There's never been more true a statement. Like, look what he has done to the Republican Party. Some of the Republicans are too scared to stand up to Trump because they're literally getting threatened. Some have no spine. Some of them are part of the cult. I mean, it's sad what's happened to the Republican Party. And they don't even, like people like Hannity who can say, I'm a straight conservative, and yet he's supposed to be on a Fox News channel and people call him a journalist. He's not a journalist. It's crazy. I don't know how we change things and get back to some sanity around here. Vilma says, if Trump wins a second term, the United States will be like the Roman Empire. It crumbled from within. How often do you think of the Roman Empire? I think a lot of people are thinking about it a lot more right now. Lori says, super interesting listening to Liz Cheney on Rachel Maddow last night. Nice hearing two diametrically opposed politically women have a civil discussion, although they were discussing something they agreed on. Exactly. Well, I mean, I think To agree on something as fundamental as who is unqualified to run for president of the United States is huge. It's saying I am putting the country before party, right? Like that's what it matters. And there's so many people that just can't seem to do it. Now, can you criticize Biden and Democrats are still standing behind him? Yes, absolutely, because he's sane. Because also, I think that Trump lacks is the ability to respond to outrage from the American people, to give a crap that people that are not MAGA are still supposed to be represented by their president and heard, and their feelings are supposed to be cared about. Harry says that's why conservatives are financing the no party to split the vote and elect Trump. I don't know how many Democrats are really going to vote for the no party. If you vote for the no party, you don't understand politics in the United States. You don't understand politics in the United States. It's fine and dandy to dream of how you wish politics were. That's not the game we're playing. It's like standing in the middle of a soccer field as the game is going on and thinking you're going to play basketball because you feel like it. No, that's not the game we're playing right now. And it sucks. And maybe you want to change it, but now is not the time. I'm sorry. Now is not the time. Not when you have someone like Trump, an insurrectionist, about to be, trying to be president again. Lensman says if you repeat a lie often enough, some large percentage of people will believe it. The election was stolen. All politicians are crooks. Hunter Biden. Exactly. All right. I was laughing at James Comer. It's not a bombshell. The Hunter Biden thing, there's still no evidence. And I'm sorry, there just is not.
How embarrassing that that's your big thing.
Exactly. But, again, speaking about, accountability, holding people responsible, I wanted to play this one clip. I don't know how many of you guys watched it last night, but San Francisco city leaders, it was on ABC 7. They hosted this 1-hour discussion with Mayor Breed, DA Brooke Jenkins, Police Chief William Scott. They were talking about the future of the city, all of the problems. I wanted to just pull this one clip. And you guys tell me if you think that London Breed is, just as we were talking about, a president responding to Americans' concerns, if you think that San Francisco is truly responding to the problems that people, especially small businesses, are facing in the city of San Francisco.
And the fact is, what we are doing now is we are making arrests. And the big difference that we have, even this year, where we are seeing the number of car break-ins decline, the number of retail thefts decline in San Francisco, and all of what we're seeing has everything to do with making sure that there's accountability. And our district attorney, who is filing charges in many of those cases, she's holding people accountable. So we have to continue to do the work that we're doing. It is my understanding that there are a number of separate initiatives that some law enforcement folks are looking at to take something to the ballot next year on a statewide level to address what this concern is. And I also want to just be very careful about the fact is we are not just trying to arrest everybody or prosecute everyone. What we do in San Francisco, we have not abandoned our values around criminal justice reform, as well as providing second chances and opportunities to people. This city banned the box. We will hire you. For those folks who are out there committing these crimes, we have an opportunity with almost 5,000 vacancies in the city and county of San Francisco to bring people to work for San Francisco and to do so many other amazing things to give back to the community. But when those lines are crossed and when people are committing crimes in this city, there has to be accountability. There cannot be an anything goes. And so I'm really grateful and proud that despite the challenges with the capacity of the police department, they're still making those arrests. I'm grateful to the governor who's provided some additional resources from the National Guard and the CHP, as well as Speaker Pelosi, who've provided additional resources with the feds who are working with us to help us, in light of our challenges, increase our capacity to deal with so many of these challenging issues. And so I think accountability, now people are realizing accountability is a part of it.
And I just want to stop it there because, it's an hour-long thing. If you want to watch it, it's on ABC 7. But she was talking about, criminal justice reform. If you're in this life of crime, we've banned the box, you can get a job, your life isn't over, those sorts of things. But then in the same, news segment, you hear about that. Did you see that video of the guy stealing the Christmas tree off someone in the parking lot? It's ridiculous. And then the Boy Scouts got their trailer was stolen from a parking lot with all of their camping gear in it. And who was it? It was somebody on KTVU this morning. I forget who it was, but he had this great kind of. It seemed a little op-edish, but he was basically saying, "Is like we live in this time where if it's not nailed down, this culture of theft, right, where people just feel like they could take anything that they want, even if it doesn't belong to them,
and anywhere, honestly, anywhere.
Yes, anywhere.
I mean, I live in a really safe neighborhood. We roll up into my driveway yesterday, and my daughter says, "I'm just gonna leave my bassoon in the car. It's really heavy. It's really heavy." And by the way, it belongs to the school district, not us.
Right.
It's these bassoons. I don't know if you know this, but they cost thousands and thousands of dollars. They're really expensive instruments.
Right.
We couldn't afford to buy one, so I'm grateful the school district has one. And she said, "I'm just going to leave it in the car because I have a bassoon lesson and I don't want to carry it into the house and carry it back out." And I said, "Well, what do we always say? If we like it, don't leave it in the car, right?
Exactly.
If you like it and you want to come back to find it, you want to actually still have it, take it with you. You just can't trust anybody anywhere."
No, and it's sad. I mean, even me, like I'll pull into my driveway, just like you said, and sometimes I just run in the house and I don't lock my car, right? And I own a Prius, which with the catalytic converters and all that sort of thing. Not that I could protect that because I can't be in my garage anymore. But yeah, I'll always go back and I'll lock. Just in case so we are doing in our neighborhood the trees that are in the front of the yard. So every neighbor has a tree. And so they dropped it off and I have to actually call my husband and tell him.
Is it cute?
It's cute, but I can't put it up because I don't have another tree stand. I thought that they would have nailed
set it up for you.
In.
Yeah.
But it's just there. And it was at the edge of my grass because they just dropped them off. And I was going to leave it there until my husband came home last night. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to drag it up towards the house so it kind of blends in with the bush or whatever. Because someone might just see it like, oh, look, free tree. Even though it's not yours.
Absolutely.
They would totally steal it. And so it sucks to live in a society, but I don't know if it's a valid argument to say, and this is the argument that a lot of conservatives say, it's democratic policies that have instilled in criminals that they can get away with it. I mean, is that what's the problem? Because I heard London Breed right there. We believe in criminal justice reform. There are people that are going to take advantage of the fact that you want to be quote unquote fair or give people a second chance. And they're not going to mess with areas that don't give a crap. You know what? Sorry, you hang out with crap. You are crap. Even if you didn't commit the crime, we're going to round you up with it as well. Oh, you kind of look like somebody that committed the crime. We're going to round you up as well. I don't want to hear it. You're in jail for 20 years and we don't care that your life is over. There are places that have that mentality, right? They don't care about, kind of digging beneath the surface, seeing if there's, bias, let alone prejudice involved in the policing within a city. Right. They don't care. They're like, nope, if you're a criminal or you look like a criminal, we're rounding you up.
That's it. You're done. Yeah.
And that's wrong. And so how do you balance being, fair to people, understanding implicit and explicit bias, racism, all those sorts of things, and yet still not allow crimes to go unpunished? That's the problem. And so I don't know how long it's going to take to reverse these things, when you can get, and then there's also like, oh, they think it's this one small group. Well, friggin' keep them in jail. That was the other thing that came out in the town hall that they're talking about, is because our kind of sentencing guidelines, oh, okay, you're going to be sentenced, you're in jail for a few days or a week or whatever, and then you're let go with a court date. Well, no, if you're part of this criminal organization that's responsible for all these thefts and we think you are, what's fair? Do we keep you in because we think that you're guilty of it? Or do we let you go like we would let, me getting caught stealing something with nothing on my record, right? So how do you balance those things? I don't know. I don't know how you do it. I really don't.
Here's the outrageousness of the story you mentioned. This happened in San Mateo. If you haven't heard, somebody stole a Christmas tree that was tied down to the roof of an SUV. It was all caught on tape. The driver pulls up to this parked vehicle, gets out, cuts the rope takes the tree right off the roof and puts it in his trunk. A couple had just bought the tree Friday night. They were doing errands. When they returned to find out what happened, the tree lot did give them a replacement. But yeah,
that's good. I didn't hear that they gave him a replacement.
Yeah.
But you know what bothers me, and that's why I want to play the video, and it's an ad playing right now, so I'll go to it in just a second. I want you to notice, one, what a lot of people were saying is the nonchalant way that the thief stole it, right? Okay, hold on. Here we go.
Well, if you act like you're supposed to be there doing that thing, then people don't even bat an eyelash, right?
But also, look at what the effer is driving. Okay, here we go. Here it is. This is a nice, what is that? A GMC SUV. Look, checks it out. There's the tree. Back. Oh, look. I could just steal this. This is a nice car. It doesn't look like, it's not his car. I don't know what that is. I'm not good with those symbols on the front, but whatever. So nice, white, clean looking SUV just pulls up right next to it. And then this guy just gets out of his car. Now, let's see if I can get it.
They should have that the plate number. You could see the plate when the guy rolled up.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they did. Hold on. Let's see. Let's speed this up a little bit. No, he's backing up right there. But yeah, he's probably checking it out. Oh yeah, look. So here he is. He's taking it off. He snipped the rope. There it is. Just grabbing the tree and just shoves it in the back of his SUV. I mean, no rush. And here's the thing. That van on the left kind of pulled up. I don't know if they could have seen him and asked what he's doing. What would you do if you saw this happening? What would you do? Because I know you guys get all mad at me not getting shot and everything by saying something.
So I would think, logically, that you don't go to the trouble to tie a tree to the top of your vehicle unless you're going to take it to a different location like your house and untie it. But then again, what if you confront someone about something like this and say, hey, are you supposed to be taking that tree? First of all, they'll probably say, yeah. It's my brother-in-law, my friend. We're just taking they bought us a tree. We're just taking it, putting it in our car instead as we head to the house because they didn't want to scratch up their roof or whatever. I mean, there's all kinds of logical explanations that people could offer you. And what are you supposed to say? Oh, okay.
Right.
Oh,
I mean,
prove it's your tree. Show me the receipt.
I did. But even though, honestly, Kim, how many videos have we seen where people have their phones and watching somebody break into a car and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you do it. They don't even care. They put their mask on. They go about their business and they continue to go. I watched one video just last week. The guy was like, I think eating fast food in front of the restaurant and he saw a car kind of staking. He's like, look at this car. Look at this car. He knew it was going to happen. And he watched the car, pulled up, not even 10 seconds. They have that like glass breaking thing. They break the glass.
It's crazy.
They steal the bag. They're out.
Yeah.
They're out. It's so quick. And what are you supposed to do? I mean, record the plate, call the cops, but it pisses me off.
I mean, if I had gotten out of the car and snapped pictures of that guy's license plate, right?
And that face.
And said, I will be contacting the police.
Right.
Then maybe it would have jarred them enough to drop the tree and have them run away.
Is it worth it? Like,
is it worth them having a weapon in their vehicle or trying to back up into me or road raging me or hurting me in some way because I confronted them over a Christmas tree? I mean, it's in the worst case scenario, that tree was probably $185 or less.
Yeah,
$150 to $185. That's the going price of a Christmas tree, right? So my life is worth that? No.
But then that's what they bank on, damn
I
it.
know.
They bank on us being like, my life is worth more than $100, $200. It is worth more than that. But is it worth the damage to society? Like, I don't mean to be dramatic here, but this is the mentality we're talking about. Right? This is the mentality. Oh, the criminals are like, they're not going to risk their lives confronting me over a $150 tree. Well, MFer, if I was there, I would be shaming you. I'm like, this is what you do during the holidays? Shame on you. Shame on you. And you know what? You're cursed. I will curse people. I swear to God, I will act like I'm a witch. I'll be like, you are cursed. You are never going to benefit for the rest of your friggin' life because you sold your soul for a $150 tree.
Yep.
It gets my
happy holidays to you too, pal.
Exactly. But anyway.
And Mayor London Breed says all this as another video pops out. This is thieves breaking into San Francisco cars, 10 plus cars in the Hayes Valley neighborhood. Video surveillance caught the suspects in action. They hit more than 10 cars in Hayes Valley.
Crazy.
One victim says it's so weird because nothing was even stolen out of the vehicle, but the windows were smashed, right?
Yeah.
The nearby shopping area considered a top trouble spot along with Fisherman's Wharf and Alamo Square.
Yeah.
So
It's
10 cars.
crazy. It's
broken
crazy.
into.
And again, and I'm not saying that it can happen any other time of year, but you think that these friggin' thieves, although because people want things for Christmas, they're just like, well, I can't afford a tree, so I'm going to steal the tree. I can't afford this, so I'm just going to take it. Idiots. I can't stand it, and it just pisses me off to no end. Okay, well, I need to calm down. Okay. Let's do a couple of headlines, and then there's a couple of stories that I want to get to. I want to get your guys' take on whether or not you would take the Alzheimer's test that's supposed to come out next year. Would you want to know, given the fact that there still isn't a cure for it? I kind of feel like it'd just be like this dark cloud hanging over my life if I found it. But would you want to know and maybe try to do whatever you could to maybe push off it happening? I'm going to share with you a story that really warmed my heart yesterday, and it came from my daughter. As you know, if you've been following this week, my daughter has lost her phone. She cannot bring a phone to school. She does not have a phone. She's allowed to,
lost her phone privileges. She still has you have the phone.
The phone
We just
is
took it
broken.
away.
The screen is totally cracked. It needs to be fixed. I haven't even fixed the phone. She has her iPad at home, so she can talk to her friends and message her friends. But like all social media and bringing it to school doesn't work. So she doesn't have her phone. And she said something to me that, I mean, I paused. I was like, wow. And I'm going to tie this into Sammy's Law, which is coming out. And it's all named after a boy that had drugs delivered to his house. And his parents were like, if this law was in place, our son probably would have been alive. So all of that is coming up. Click that thumbs up button, guys. Please do it. YouTube loves it. There's let's see, 278 of you right now. Please click the thumbs up button if you haven't done it already. And here's Kim with some headlines.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
The FBI is urging lawmakers to renew the authority to conduct warrantless surveillance outside the United States.
Ooh.
While testifying on Capitol Hill, FBI Director Christopher Wray said it is necessary to counter threats from foreign adversaries, including China and Iran. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle expressing concerns. It also enables the government to spy on Americans. So there's some pushback on that.
And maybe I'm so dumb right now. This might be a stupid thing to say. I thought that the FBI really could only investigate things domestically.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was the CIA that did it internationally.
Right.
Am I wrong?
Apparently, the FBI had the authority to conduct the warrantless surveillance outside the U.S. for just a brief time. And so it has to be renewed. It's not a normal thing, but they want it to be.
Okay. Interesting.
So,
all right, we'll have to keep a close eye on that. You know, honestly, you help the government out more with the phone in your hand with any sort of surveillance. So don't worry about that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get to climate change. Scientists said the last decade is the hottest on record as the rate of climate change surged alarmingly. There's a new report from the World Meteorological Organization showing more planet heating pollution in the atmosphere, leading to record land and ocean temperatures. It also expects this year to be the hottest yet after 6 straight months of record global temperatures.
Fabulous.
Number of job openings hit a 2-year low in October, and the latest sign the labor market is cooling off. New government figures show just over 8.7 million vacancies for the month, a decline of more than 600,000 openings and a far bigger drop than was expected. So that's not good. Speaking of weather, there's a lot of people, millions as a matter of fact, in the Pacific Northwest under flood alerts as an atmospheric river dumps heavy rainfall on the region. This is flood watches in place from Oregon, Washington to northern Idaho. So that's underway. The California Department of Motor Vehicles is running out of license plate numbers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess if you can only have 7, I mean, you're going to hit that number at some point.
In 1980, the state began the 7-digit series beginning with 1AAA000. That was the first one. As of December 1st, plates were on the 9EWZ000. So we're getting toward the end of the 7 digits. And they will eventually get to the final plate assignment of 9ZZZ999. That will be the very last one. The state has little time left to figure things out because all available sequential 7-digit number letter combinations won't run out for about another 3 years. So
that's not very long.
They do have a little time to kind of get it together, but we'll have to figure something else out.
Well, you know what you do is that you make personalized license plates cheaper, and then more people will get it.
Or you flip it and you do then the numbers and then the letters. Or the letters and then the numbers.
Oh yeah, you could do that. What's your What's your plate number start with?
7.
So does mine.
Really?
Yeah, mine starts with 7. So
yeah,
not that far. Okay. Yeah, you're so funny. If you could I say my license plate number accurately, I'd probably be something off.
Yeah. I remember.
I feel like I know it. I'm not going to give it right now. I feel like I know it, but it's. Yeah, I'll learn one from one car and then I'll get a new one. I'm like, I don't know. I don't look at my license plate enough. So, oh well. I need to know it though.
Mine is I want to say the whole thing, but it's 7GDW, and I always think 7 goddamn women.
Oh, that's
right.
Good.
So I kind of try.
I think mine's like 7V something. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I try to do something like that too. I probably had something in my mind at one point and then it just floated away.
Speaking of surveillance and watching people, the city of Salinas is on the verge of adding more cameras to fight crime. They have a plan for 60 new license plate readers to be discussed at today's city council meeting. They've already got 40 installed.
Okay.
So this will make 100 in town, with another 11 in the works. Police say this new batch will continue to help them respond to crimes faster, find suspects sooner, especially as retail theft surges. The city will be leasing the flock safety cameras for 5 years. Oh,
This is my problem with the license plate readers. How often do we hear in crimes that license plates have been swapped? What does a license plate reader really help me if it's not really the license plate that goes with the car? Can somebody explain that to me? No. Okay.
Or if it's a dealer, they always have dealer plates, right?
Or they put something on it that's illegal, but they do it where you can't, it doesn't get on the camera or whatever. There's all kinds of crap.
They all do it. Okay, lastly, a story about the lottery, because we haven't talked about it in a while, but it's heating up again. Woo-hoo!
Oh, now Kim's going to buy a ticket. There we go.
The pair of lottery jackpots keep getting bigger just in time for Christmas and Hanukkah and everything else. An estimated $377 million is up for grabs in tonight's Mega Millions drawing. Wednesday's Powerball drawing will be worth at least $435 million. So someone is going to have a very happy holiday season.
Yeah, if it pops before that, though, I mean, last time it lasted quite a while. So there's no guarantee that it's going to pop. But
no,
you can't win if you don't play.
That's exactly right.
So you have to play. I mean, again, every time I say I'm going to play, I always forget to buy one. So, honey, if you're watching the show, please, along your travels,
stop by, pick up a couple tickets.
It's Mega Millions, did you say?
It's Mega Millions and it's Powerball. So
big. Okay.
So it's $377 million in tonight's Mega Millions, and then Wednesday's Powerball is up to $435 million.
I'll take it. I'll take
it.
I'll take $2 million. I'll take 1,000. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not picky. Just give me free money. I'm totally down for that. Whenever I go for the scratchers, though, I'm always like, I don't want to spend $20 on one of those like big scratchers or whatever. I mean, people win on the little small $1 ones, don't they? I mean, come on now.
I always, when somebody wins a jackpot like that, I always send up a wish. Like, I hope that person it was somebody that really needed the money.
It really needed. I mean,
I hope it's somebody that's going to do something good with it that also was in dire straits, and this is like a life changer, right?
You know what I hate is like, it's my first time ever playing, and I'm like, I'm like, fine, beginner's luck, I guess. Beginner's luck. Oh, look, we got free money from Doug, though. Thank you, Doug.
Hey, Doug, with putting it into our lotto fund. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the super stickers and the super chat open here, as you can see from Doug. Thank you for that. We really appreciate all the ways that you help us and that you participate in the show, even that you spend your morning with us and we, start twice and everything else. And
dropping
here you are, you're still hanging with us. And wow. But we do have a crowdfunded show. Please find us at thenikkimedoroshow.com, thenikkimedoroshow.com. That's where the Patreon and the PayPal links are, and that's where we really get your solid support of the show that we can depend on. So thank you for that. I'm Kim McAllister. This is the Nikki Medoro Show.
Thank you very much. I know even my husband texted me. He's like, "You were recorded. You were live," and I don't understand what happened. I'm telling you, I don't understand what happened. If you missed it, it was a funny start to the show. Yeah. Okay.
He's like, I don't think we're on the air.
We weren't. I'm telling you, we were not.
We did a really good show for you and I together.
StreamYard is the system we use. And I'm telling you, StreamYard's like, go live. It's time. It's showtime. And I'm like, what happened? But I think it's even funnier that it worked out that way. Okay. So a blood test, a simple blood test may be all you need to figure out whether you're going to have Alzheimer's disease years in the future. So there's new research from this Utah biotech company. It's developed diagnostic tests for neurodegenerative diseases, and researchers say its new test achieved 100% accuracy in identifying patients with Alzheimer's and with mild cognitive impairment who went on to develop Alzheimer's disease within 5 years. So let's see. In this study, 50 blood plasma samples were tested. This included 25 older control individuals, 13 who had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, 6 with mild cognitive impairment, who later developed Alzheimer's, and 6 MCI patients who did not develop Alzheimer's, and it was accurate 100% of the time. So 5 years. Let's just put 5 years. Would you want to live in ignorance for 5 years or live knowing it's coming for those 5 years? Would you take the blood test?
Yes.
Why?
Because there are things you can do to stave it off.
There's no cure, though. I mean, you can maybe slow it down, perhaps, but...
Yeah, and it's important to know. So I'm looking at this Harvard Health study, or note, basically, that it's the ways that you can improve your lifestyle for Alzheimer's prevention. Exercise, eat a Mediterranean diet, get enough sleep. So maybe I'm burning the candle at both ends, but if I know that I'm going to, suffer Alzheimer's, I'm all of a sudden making sure to get 8-9 hours a night, what have you. Learn new things, connect socially, drink, but only a little bit. All these things.
If I found out that I was about to get Alzheimer's, I'm just telling you, there'd be a couple of binges in my future.
Like if you knew it was coming, first of all, you would spend the next. Are you saying that it's in 5 years that you would get it?
Yeah,
I would spend that 5 years.
Yeah.
I would spend it making the most incredible memories with, your focus changes. You want to spend more time with your kids. You want to go do those experiences and have those fun things before you can't do those things anymore, right? Yeah. You want to make those lifestyle changes that will allow you to maybe, get an extra year or two in before this stuff kicks in. So, and also, if it happens, what happened to me, I would want to put in place some type of plan with my husband that if this happens to me, here's how I want you to handle it type of thing.
Right. Jim makes an excellent point, though. Ignorance so that your insurance doesn't get canceled or increased. I mean, that is true. I agree with you on making preparations, right? Okay, so this is likely coming if it's not in 5 years, because I'm going to do all those things you mentioned as much as possible, even though we should be doing them all now. I don't know what my life becomes easier.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden I have time to sleep. Now I have time to eat better. Like, why not just do it now? But I hear you. But having directives, and Alzheimer's, just because you developed Alzheimer's, it doesn't happen like one day. You know what I mean? So it's kind of as much as I understand, it slowly can develop, and then it can accelerate, of course. I don't know, though. And I've shared with you guys before with my first pregnancy, there was this like 0.1% that my daughter was going to have Down syndrome. And I mean, even though it was so minute and like a way bigger possibility that she wasn't and she didn't, it was a cloud over the rest of my pregnancy. I can't imagine if it was me and this thing was out there. It was just like this line that I'm about to reach, and every birthday I'm like a year closer. I feel like I would just, I don't know.
It's like, would you want to know if you're going to get hit by a Mack truck tomorrow? Right. Well, probably not. You know,
I mean, unless of course I could just not cross the street. Right?
But if it's going to happen either way, you know, you're going to die tomorrow.
Destination stuff. Yeah.
It's some horrible accident, you know.
Oh, that's interesting. Randy asked, so the other side of Jim's comment is, will insurance companies start to require this test to be taken? Excellent question, Randy.
Yeah, it really is a good
question. So if that exists,
yeah.
just like any sort of, you know, you have to go to the doctor for your wellness checks so that you can make sure. So if you're not tuning up the body and you're not taking the necessary steps, one, maybe they can't force you to take the test, but two, if you don't take the test, your insurance rates go up anyway, because they're like, well, this is what you need to do to have lower rates, raise the rates. That way we know if you're going to develop this. And again, even though this said 100%, I can imagine with a larger pool of people, it might reduce, you know, the positive and negative and the effectiveness of the test on detecting it. Grady says, I took care of my grandpa for a year and a half before he passed, and he had Alzheimer's. I'm so sorry, Grady. And it's the thing with like dementia and Alzheimer's is that because it's like the slow goodbye is how it's often described, because you lose the person, they lose their memory, they forget who you are, who they are. It's an awful disease.
Have you seen that car commercial?
Oh God, with the grandma. Yes.
Oh, I think I reposted it on my Facebook page. That commercial had me in tears. It's about this kind of grandmother in a catatonic state, right? And they're at a holiday gathering and the grandkids are like, hey, grandma. And she's just sitting off there staring into space. So one of her granddaughters has an idea to take her for a drive. And they get into their old, what is it, a Chevy or whatever it was.
Yeah, it's like a commercial, right? For something like that.
And they get in the car and she drives her around to all these places, like her old high school that she went to, and the place where the grandfather proposed, and this place and the beach and that, and all these places that kind of jog her memories. And of course, everywhere she goes, they see somebody else driving that brand of car. Right. And then she's reminded of that vehicle that made so much, you know, was important to their family, their old family car. And then by the time she gets back to the house, she remembers her husband. She's having a clear moment, like a clear day.
Yeah.
And she remembers everybody, and the family gathering turns into something else. So
I didn't like that commercial as much as you did. I thought it was sweet, but I was like, that's not necessarily
realistic.
What can happen, right? It's like, I'm gonna make today a good day, grandma, and then you take her away and then she starts freaking out because she doesn't know where the hell she is, who you are, what car they're in. Like, that's the other side of it. And I get it, you know, it's supposed to be nice and holidays and all that kind of stuff, but I was like, that's gonna make people feel. Can you imagine if people like decided to do that during the Christmas holiday and they're like, that's not what happened in the commercial? Yeah, that doesn't always happen.
Yeah, no,
sorry, we gave you a really bad idea.
But it was a really nice commercial.
Don't be taking grandma out of the house, right? It's like, can we not do that? But yeah, it was nice. And it kind of reinforced that it can happen. Especially you hear people with dementia and Alzheimer's, they do have those clear moment days. I just would hate for so many people to reenact the commercial and then it go really bad. But yeah, so I don't know if I would do it, but you guys keep bringing up the pre-existing condition thing, and that's such a good. I didn't even think about that. Honestly, I didn't. I was just like, I don't want a cloud over my life. Insurance companies are like, no, dude, we want to know if the cloud is coming, and we're going to require all of this.
Yeah.
I mean, how much diagnostics do we want on our bodies? And if it's not 100% accurate anymore, right? Then all of a sudden I have to take a test. It tells me I'm positive, and then I never develop something, but I'm paying the higher rates. You know, I'm getting denied for certain things. I could see things, you know, kind of there be a bit of a pushback on it. What commercial are you talking about? I hate the commercial where the mother becomes violent. I can't watch it anymore. It's so depressing.
Oh, no, that's not what I'm talking about.
No, this one, no, she totally, it's fine. She's kissing her husband in the car. It's totally a Hallmark moment. Yeah. Catherine can't stand that ad. It's like the car company thinks they can cure Alzheimer's. See, everyone's thinking like, I'm like, I don't know about that commercial. I don't know about that.
Oh, Catherine, it sucked me in though. I was like, oh, grandma.
You're so funny. Yeah. You're so funny. All right. Okay. Let's switch gears a bit and talk about the phones. So, okay, to catch you guys up, my daughter, we're focusing on schoolwork. Finals are coming up. My daughter is struggling in one of her classes. And so I'm like, you know what? Until you get your grades up, you've lost your phone. You could talk to your friends. You're not grounded. You could see your friends, but phones at school, phones at home, social media, it's all gone. Okay.
Also, I want to tell you that I love you. I love you. I love you. Like,
my
huge
daughter
heart from this mom to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, so I'm in the car yesterday. Now, this was last week. I think it was like last Monday or Tuesday I did this, okay? And so I was in the car with my daughter. I picked her up from school yesterday. And we're in the car and we're laughing about something. And Kim, you feel me. Like moments in the car with your kid not looking down at their phone or interacting with you and actually laughing with you. Like we were cracking up in the car. And I just like sighed. And I just looked at my daughter and I was like, I just love the fact that you don't have your phone. And she looked at me, Kim, and she's like, me too. And I swear I'm going to get emotional. I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, I totally love not having my phone at school. And I was like, really? Why? And she's like, I just like it. She's like, I just sit there and I'm like, well, how is it with all of your friends? And my daughter is such a mini me. She's such a comedian. And so there's this, I don't know if you've seen the documentary for teenagers with social media. It's called Screenagers. So the kids have to like watch it. I've heard of it. You've heard of it. Okay. And it's all about social media and responsibility and whatever. And so I asked my daughter, I was like, so how does it feel when you're at school? I mean, is it annoying to see all your friends just looking down at their phones and whatever? And she's like, oh, that's so funny that you mention it. She's like, the other day I was sitting on campus and everyone's looking at their phones and a teacher walks by and I looked at him. I'm like, Screenagers, am I right? And I was like, it's true. She's like, no,
that's so funny.
mind. And she can reach me because all of her friends have phones. So like if I need to say something to my daughter or she needs to reach me, like it's fine. But she's a completely different kid.
I'm sure that teacher was just laughing all the way out to the classroom. And then did they flash to the Prius on your car? They're like,
exactly right. There you go.
It's an ad for no phones for teenagers. It's true though that you're right that weird stuff happens in the car, and maybe it's because they're a captive audience.
Yes.
But I find that a lot of times in the car is when
you have the conversation.
She opens up to me and we have the conversations, or I get the details about what happens and is what's going on in her life and with her friends and what she feels about things. So
I agree, but sometimes I feel like, and you're right, like if there's ever a moment in which I have the most conversations with my kid, or I catch conversations if her friends are in the car, it's in the car. But because the phone can be there, she can be distracted by whatever drama is happening at school.
Right.
And so I get the fine, this, that. I don't get everything because she's distracted. There's something entertaining her. And again, I have, when she does have her phone, I have things like I use Bark, which is the scanning thing on her phone. And it's not 100%. So for instance, Apple upgraded it and it really doesn't work as well. I'm thinking of getting rid of it, but I'm not. It just requires more work. So because of the upgrades on the Apple, if you're thinking about getting Bark or something like it, every time it wants to scan, the kid has to put in their code on their phone. Now, you could take the code requirement off the phone to open it, but then you leave your phone open to anybody that wants to open their phone, right?
Yeah.
And so that just kind of puts a level. So what I do is I have to take the phones away from them and get them updated every night or whatever to just kind of scan it. And then I do the password myself. Now, the reason why I wanted to share this story is there's this new law called Sammy's Law. And it's this kid, Sam, who had died from a drug overdose. And here's a little bit of a report. This is from Fox regarding, and it's so sad. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is TikTok with Bark is not scanned. Snapchat, where the messages disappear, they can't catch them. And when you can't catch these things, you really have no idea what the kid is doing on their phone. And that's what led to this kid's death.
7th, 2021, Super Bowl Sunday, when we came to find our son that day, he was dead on the floor.
Sammy's dad says that's the day a drug dealer reached out to his 16-year-old son through social media, and the drugs that were delivered were laced with fentanyl.
And from that moment on, we've been what we call accidental activists.
Connecting with other fentanyl parents, speaking to groups, appearing in the media, and even making this public service announcement.
Like most parents, we had no idea that drug dealers were preying on our children.
If a drug dealer reaches out to their kids, if they're being bullied, if they're talking about suicide, if they're at risk of violence, You know, if we had had that safety software available to us, which Snapchat and TikTok don't allow, and Instagram and Facebook don't allow on their instant messaging aspect, if we had that, then Sammy would probably still be alive today.
House Resolution 5778, Sammy's Law, will be announced Tuesday by Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And it's been a big part of this couple's efforts to turn pain into purpose.
And it does help the helplessness that one feels when something like this happens, to try to help other families from our fate. So since pretty much the day after Sammy died, not only have we been focused on healing, but we've been focused on saving other children and other families from Sammy and our fate. And we won't stop.
This story has a personal connection to me.
Told them I loved them.
I was there at the start of their journey.
When this first happened to us, we spoke with you and you put us on TV. And when we were done, you said to me, you've got to get out there and do more. People need to hear from you. And so that's exactly what we did.
So, I mean, I feel like it is so important for parents to realize that even with Bark, even with all of these things, you have to kind of just separate the kids from their phones and really get in there and look. Like, I know so many parents that are like, well, I can grab their phone at any time and read it. Like, right, I'll read their text messages or whatever. But how often do you do it? Just because you tell your kid, hey, you know, that's my phone, it's not your phone, I'm letting you use it, and those sorts of things. I mean, how many of you, I mean, do you ever just pick up Julia's phone and go through it all the time?
Yeah.
So that's a regular thing that you do.
I haven't done it in a while, but I used to when she first got it.
Oh yeah. What would be something that you would read that would make you say something to her?
She had a text exchange with a boy in her 8th grade class where the boy was saying some horrible things.
Oh.
And I told her that she had to block that number and that I didn't want her to talk to that kid at school anymore. I wanted her to, like, there were some disturbing pictures that the boy sent over.
Ooh.
And I said, well, why didn't you say something to the kid? And she said, because I don't know. I just didn't say anything. I didn't respond, but I didn't say anything. So she just was kind of still finding her backbone to stand up and say, this is wrong type of thing. So after that, I kept checking for, every few weeks. And then it got to the point where she's like, you need to trust me.
Yes.
But I know that my husband has software and he can look and see every message that comes through, everything, making sure that nothing is coming through from a number that we don't know. She has Snap. They can text, but only from numbers that she knows.
Okay.
So, and she doesn't have any other social media than that. That's the only social media she has.
Right.
So, I don't know. Maybe I'm deluding myself into somehow feeling that because we can see everything and because, we have rules in place that she's somehow safer.
Yeah, I know. I don't like Snapchat for the reason of the whole disappearing thing, So I don't let my daughter have that. She does have TikTok. She doesn't have Instagram. Even though she really wants Instagram. But then I asked her, would you want to give up TikTok? Like I told her, you can only choose one. And she wanted TikTok because she liked the videos, right? And I was like, okay, well, you can only choose one. And obviously I have access to it. So it's on my phone. I could log into her account. I could see all the private ones. I could see all the likes that she has. I could see everything. And she's like, no, I don't want Instagram. I don't want this. I don't want it. So I feel like kids push back as much as possible, but I think that inherently they may know, especially as they get older and they see the repercussions of these. Snapchat, I don't understand. I understand that they have, according to everyone that I know that has Snapchat has the best filters, right? So the fun ones, the good looking ones, all of those, the best ones are on Snapchat. TikTok, I think, has the best recording capability, like recording videos and editing videos,
right?
That sort of thing. But Snapchat, the whole disappearing aspect of it is what bothers me. Like being able to reach out to somebody and then within a certain amount of time, the message disappears. Now you could screenshot it, of course. It tells the person that you've screenshot it though. But still, it just seems, if I'm looking at my kid's phone and they have an app in which all these messages disappear, how are you supposed to make sure that they're not getting sent drugs or doing all those sorts of things. I don't understand.
The thing that bothers me about it is this whole popularity contest thing where it'll tell you like, oh, so-and-so and so-and-so are top, on the top of each other's snap list. They've snapped each other.
I didn't know that did
however
that.
many times. Julia and Marley have snapped each other X amount of times, and they're number 2 and you're number 5 and you're number. So it becomes this kind of
like
hierarchy of who's better friends with whom. I don't know.
And it's always like that. You know what I mean? It's like, who's your best friend? No, and it's all childhood BS, right?
It's comparing yourselves to others, right? That makes you feel poorly about yourself. That makes you, I would imagine, that makes kids depressed and feel like they're not good enough or not worthy enough. And
yeah. And that's why I brought up that story of my daughter. It's like, I've seen in like a week a change in her personality, and not just, but it's the casual personality. It's not like she's fundamentally changed as a person, but it's just, her interactions with me. I mean, there are some days where it's just like, I can't even say anything to her because she was looking at her phone. Something upset her, right?
Yeah.
Something upset her, or she was distracted by something. I'm interrupting. And now all of a sudden she's aggravated with me.
Yeah.
She comes into my room at night, Kim. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
With me.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys have teenagers. That doesn't happen as often as it used to. You know what I mean? And so I'm loving it, dude. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go back. I love the fact, though, that she said, I love not having my phone at school. Like, I'm really, really hoping that we can maintain that. Now, Grady said Insta's worse than Snap because it's porn approved. I would say all of them you could put porn on. I mean, it's not like TikTok cares. It's not like, Snap, you could snap your tits and send it to somebody and then they disappear unless they screenshot it. I mean, I think they're all capable of being bad for kids, So it's a hard one. Oh, yes, I do remember, John. MySpace did do it. Remember, it was like your top 8 or whatever.
Yeah.
Tom, your friend. Tom was your first friend on MySpace, and then everybody else. I did like MySpace. I loved the personalization that you were able to use. Like if you went to the page, it had a song that would play.
Yeah.
It was okay. It was the beginning of all of that. I remember, everyone's like, I'm on Facebook now. I'm not on or Friendster or whatever the hell. I mean,
Friendster.
It's
Julia
gone so
asked
quickly.
me for her drumline at school as part of the band. She's in drumline. And I made her watch the movie Drumline over the weekend. By the way, she's like, that's nothing like the real Drumline that I'm in. I'm like, I know. But that's what I thought of when you said you were on Drumline. I'm like that?
No.
They have the Drumline, all the kids message each other about meetings and whether the practices and stuff on a Discord server.
Ooh, okay.
And so they're telling her she needs to get this Discord server. And I'm thinking, I don't really have a good feeling about that. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me in the chat if I think I'm remiss on that.
I've dabbled in Discord. I'm not on it.
Okay.
I can't be an expert on it because I just went on it because I think, and this was I want to say maybe 2 years ago, maybe during COVID, like the height of COVID, my kids were like, oh, some people are on Discord. And I was like, nah, let's not do that. But I researched it and saw what it was about. The thing that pisses me off on that note is, for instance, this week at my daughter's high school, it's Winterfest. And so on Monday, it was pajama day. Well, my daughter, 1, doesn't have her phone and 2, doesn't have Instagram. And so she had no idea. And there's no at middle school, the news network, that's not apparently something that happens regularly at her high school.
Yeah.
And so she had no idea. And I was like, well, you always look like you're wearing your pajamas anyway. So it wasn't that big of a deal. But she could have worn cuter ones, I guess. But yeah, it's like the schools are like, we don't want you to be stuck on your phone, and then allow vital communication, things that are involving the students to only be placed on Instagram. That doesn't seem fair either. And so they need to stop doing that. Send out notes. I would never have known about it, but I'm on Instagram, and so I follow her high school. And I know, I was like, oh, it's pajama day. Why didn't you dress up? She's like, I didn't know. And I forgot to tell her because
they should have a poster or something where kids can see it walking in and out. Yeah.
And maybe they do, and she's just not paying attention. So Eric says Discord is like the new version of IRC. Jim says Discord is safe as you set it. It is open group chat. You select the group you join. They could lock it down to a specific people, as safe as a Facebook group.
Okay.
So maybe you just have to also be part of it, Kim. Right. You know what I mean? And just trust your kid, you know, and I know you do, but that's what I would say. Like, I need to know. Chris says people use Discord end up wanting sex changes.
What?
I thought you were saying something else, Chris. I would not have put that up on the screen. Sorry. Murphy says my daughter made her own Discord server for one of her groups as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I put that up, Murphy. Chris's response. That was not a very nice response. And Grady, or Chris, you should stop doing that. Grady says, smoking grass and Black Sabbath, Van Halen in the park, no phones, good old days. Exactly, right? I mean, not that we were all goody two-shoes. People talked more. And I guess that's my whole thing with phones, is they can be so dangerous. They can be so detrimental to our kids' lives. And yet, we just let them have them too often. You know what I mean? And it sucks. All right. We have a few more minutes before the end of the show. And I did tease this one, so I want to talk about it. It is the holiday season. We were talking about crime earlier. What to do with criminals, how to stop crime. Well, there are some things that you can do. So this New York Post article, there's this chick, and of course she's hot, right? I mean, she's a really attractive young lady. And so she calls herself a cat burglar. Her name is Jen Gomez. She lived in Northeast Florida. She says she's used landscapes, greenery, and fences to help cover her tracks as a burglar. The case with which Gomez stole a court-estimated $1.1 million in jewelry. She thinks it's closer to $2 million, though. It can be obviously concerning for homeowners. So she says, she's on TikTok.
She's a real cat burglar.
Yeah, so
she's a successful one.
So she said the thing that you said. She saw Gomez blends in so well that she says once a local of the neighborhood unsuspectingly offered to help her load a stolen safe into her car.
Come on.
She says she often dresses in like medical scrubs to act like, oh, I'm home for the holidays. I work at a hospital. I'm going to help my parents like do whatever. And so she has these tips and tricks. One is, and how many of you have this? A small safe in your house. How many of you have it? So she's like, stop doing that. She's like, these safes are so small. I could literally just pick them up and walk out with it. And now you can, of course, kind of bolt it in, which can be a deterrent. But she says, no, it defeats the whole purpose if you could just pick up the small safe. And she also says, which I never thought of, stop storing all your important stuff together. You're like, oh, I have all of my papers, my passport, my social security card. Yeah, there she is. Hottie McHotster, cat burglar. She's like, you store all of your important documents, passwords, whatever, all together. So it's really, really easy to get all your stuff stolen very, very quickly. She says, since burglars typically operate in mere minutes, they often don't give deep scrutiny to obscure areas of the home. So, you know, obviously they're going to target the master bedroom. But if you separate things, you know, one's in a closet, one's this, that, and the other, then that would be best. She says to avoid, this is the thing that like blew my mind. Okay. To avoid triggering alarm systems, Gomez would shatter a window to climb through rather than open it. And so what she avoids, she says there's one piece of security that's her kryptonite. And it's basically something called glass break sensors. I'm going to show it on the screen for you. I have never heard of this before. Okay. So this is what they are right here. And apparently, I guess you just put them inside the window or near it, right? And it sets off some alarm. Has anyone ever used something like this? So it fits any door or window. And so if it's broken, it sets off some sort of alarm. I've never heard of anything like this.
It makes me wonder if her TikTok video that she's done is really an ad for this product.
Well, I mean, the New York Post put it in there. She's like, that right there would make me run away. There wasn't much I could do at that point to go in and still look for things. So I guess it's the instant alarm. She was trying to get around it by, I guess, just climbing through the window. But I don't know. My parents have an alarm system in their house.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you break some sort of invisible barrier, the alarm
it would go off. Yeah.
Right? Unless it's the door, because I've only set off my alarm if you open the door, you get a countdown and it's like the bomb is about to go off. And yeah, one time I forgot the password because I was so discombobulated by the countdown that I couldn't remember the password. And so then I stood outside my parents' house as the alarm was just blaring throughout the neighborhood. But yeah,
I
so
have
she's
questions about Jen Gomez.
okay. Yes,
She says that her name is that's her moniker on TikTok. Jen Gomez.
Okay.
Jen says she spent 10 years in a Florida prison.
She looks really freaking young.
Jen doesn't look like she's old enough to have spent 10 years anywhere except high school and middle school. I mean,
Maybe
she looks
sentenced to 10 years, but I can't imagine.
spent 10 years in a Florida prison, recently got candid about what it takes to pull off a heist.
She's 40 years old.
She does not look 40 years old.
She looks good. But she also looks like she's had work done and has Botox. I mean, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Not to be judgy McJudged her, but she looks like her lips are plumper than normal and she's really smooth. I mean, come on. So hold on. You have that picture? You have that picture? Okay, so this is the picture of her. This is her booking photo. Okay, so take down that picture. So does she look 40 there? She looks closer to 40
same
there.
person?
That's the same. Okay, now put up your picture. Put up your picture.
That is not the same person.
So she's had work done.
I don't believe it. Jen had a full-on reconstructive surgery situation.
She had a glow up after she got out of jail for 10 years, apparently. So
I mean, her whole face is different. This is a longer, narrower, thinner face. The other woman has more of a round face.
Well, maybe she just ate too much of the prison food. I don't know.
Maybe it's 10 years in prison.
Maybe it is. I mean, it's been 10 years, so she was younger there. She had, maybe she was living an unhealthy lifestyle. I have no idea.
Jen.
Yeah, but no, people are saying about those glass break things. Radcliffe says 2 in the home. They work.
Okay.
One was set off by my gardener having a rock break my patio door and the alarm went off. Donald says at home I set up Alexa to respond to breaking glass. Okay. Yeah, so that's just really interesting. I mean, where would I put it? I mean, this house, the best alarm for my friggin' house is my dog. I'm sorry. That dog will let you know if anybody is within a mile of the house with the barking that Nugget does. So, yeah, definitely. Jim says, the electronic doorbell and security cams like Nest, Ring, and more also alert you when it hears glass break. I did not know that. I know that it rings. Kim says that they definitely look like 2 different people. Well, one is in prison or about to go to it, and one is not. So yeah, if you're looking to protect your home this holiday season or 365, I'll do the commercial. There you go. You can buy one of those. You can absolutely buy one of those.
She said she also always checks the weather, that gloomy days are better to break in than sunny days. That's interesting since we're in the gloomy season right now.
That's interesting. Right? You would think it'd be opposite because I would say sunny days, people are out of their house. She does say that.
She says people are out and they're out, more people out and about, looking around and, walking by and everything.
I would just say out of the house so you can go into the house. But yeah, that makes sense too. More people
drizzly
watching.
And rainy, there's not as many people walking by, not as much activity on the street.
Yeah, and she also says COVID messed things up because you can't trust whether anyone's home or not.
Yeah.
It's like, are they home? Are they not home? So yeah. All right, Angel, thank you so much. Angel is in the Bay Area with a $10 super sticker donation. Thank you so very much. We appreciate it. Let me say some more thank yous before we end the show. I got to get my thing. Okay, Angel with $10. Doug with a $5 super sticker. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Mimi, $10. Thanks for the F-bomb. I did mean it. That's how I normally talk. You guys know it. I know it. Let's just stop. JR with $20 for the F-bomb. I don't know, Kim. Maybe I should be dropping more F-bombs.
Maybe we need to start the show that way every day.
Son of a... No, just kidding.
Good bleeping morning, everybody.
Susan gave it $10. I'd rather give you two $10. Thank you. Yeah, don't give it to George Santos on Cameo. Give it to us, my friends. And then Harry started us off with a $5 donation as well. You guys can even donate during the replay if that's how you're watching it. Just look for the $sign. We really do appreciate it. The Patreon is up and running. Throw us a Christmas donation if you want to. We're 100% crowdfunded, so we have to continue to ask you for your donation and your support. And for those that have supported us for the past year plus, we thank you. So please become an official Medorable. Go to thenikkimedoroshow.com. Sign up for our Patreon account. We do need your help. PayPal is available as well. Just go to paypal.com. Send money to this email address, thenikkimedoroshow@gmail.com. Check out our merch shop, thenikkimedoroshop.com. And of course, my list of favorite things is up and in the show notes as well.
It's good too. Yeah.
Yeah, I keep adding things, odd things, unique things that people
I have
recommend.
to go back and look again. Okay.
Yeah, I try to add at least one thing a day, if not more. So yeah, go check it out. I'm also trying to get my Pinterest page up and running again. I used to love Pinterest. They have so many cute ideas on there. So for the holiday season and everything, I've been going back to the Pinterest. All right, you guys, we will talk tomorrow. Take care of each other. We love you all. Stay here for Mark Thompson and then the after party with the Kim and John Daly. Bye-bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. Miss Brown, like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.